in the endless void beyond the Perseus expanse, where light itself seems to die and silence reigns supreme, a single vessel drifts, humanity's fragile fragment amidst the infinite unknown.
The Artemis Reach, an aging deep space survey ship, embarks on a routine mission that will soon turn into a discovery far older and far darker than anything in human history.
The Artemis Reach was no stranger to isolation. With patched hull plates and systems held together by ingenuity and luck, the ship had been operating far beyond its prime. Its crew of 7 worked on rotation, surveying anomalies, repairing life support systems, and maintaining sanity in the crushing stillness of deep space. Dr. Evelyn Cade, the ship's xenobiologist, often found herself staring at the starfields, recording her daily logs with growing weariness. Wonder had given way to monotony, and monotony to a subtle, creeping unease, until the day an impossible object appeared on their scanners. The bridge came alive with tension when the unknown vessel appeared, half again the size of the Reach, scarred, burned, and adrift. No running lights, no transponder, no signs of life. Its design was unlike any known human vessel. The hull bore spiral markings carved deep into the plating, forming intricate patterns that seemed almost alive. Not coalition, not colonial, not in any registry, reported Leon Song, the systems officer. For Evelyn, the sight was electrifying. Potential evidence of a civilization older than Earth's expansion into the stars. Against the quiet protests of Torres, the medic, and Grant, the security officer, Captain Hale made the call. They would board. The docking tube connected with a groan, sealing human steel to alien mystery. Inside, darkness swallowed their helmet lights as the away team stepped aboard. What they found confirmed Evelyn's hopes and ignited her fears. The alien ship bore corridors lined with more spiraling etchings, each pattern more deliberate than the last. A command deck held consoles and chairs, functional design eerily parallel to human engineering. But it was the remains at the center of the room that stopped Evelyn's breath. Skeletal bodies, humanoid yet alien, preserved by centuries of cold vacuum. Among the skeletal remains lay an object, smooth, hand-sized, etched with spirals that shifted in the light. When Evelyn touched it, she felt a vibration, not through her glove, but in her mind, a hum, then whispers. Meanwhile, Malik, the engineer, jury-rigged power to the main console. Against Grant's orders, he triggered a partial reboot, unleashing something that had been dormant for centuries. The lights flickered on. The hum deepened. Evelyn's whispers became voices, insistent and strange, and the bodies began to move. What followed was chaos. Grant firing into skeletal figures that jerked toward them. Evelyn clutching the alien device as though it anchored her to sanity. Malik cursing as the ship's lights guided them deeper rather than back. They made it to the airlock, slamming the hatch closed as vibrations echoed through the alien hull. Something awakening, something aware. Back aboard the Reach, Captain Hale stared at the pulsing device in Evelyn's hand. Its rhythm was unmistakable, like a heartbeat. "God help us," he said. "Whatever that ship was, it isn't finished." The Artemis Reach drifted in silence when the first anomaly occurred. The vibrations were faint, rhythmic, too regular to be random, too deep to be mechanical. Engineers initially classified them as resonance shifts from nearby gravitational currents, but the patterns grew stronger, pulsing through bulkheads like a heartbeat. Log entries from Dr. Evelyn Cade, xenolinguist, suggest she sensed it first. The sound is not noise, it's a signal, language through vibration. Something wants to speak. 2 days prior, the crew had boarded a vessel of alien origin. Massive, silent, hollow. Its interior walls appeared both metallic and organic, veins of bioluminescence running through fractured corridors. No bodies, no signs of struggle. Only a single artifact, carefully extracted under Cade's supervision. She described it as a conduit of thought. Not machine, not relic, a fragment of memory shaped into form. Commander Hale, mission lead, expressed concern. His audio notes grow increasingly terse. We should have left it. Protocol is clear, but Cade claims it's inert. God, I hope she's right. Hours after departure, sleep disturbances began. Crew members reported vivid dreams of skeletal ships drifting in black voids, their hulls alive with silent motion. Static in comm channels carried faint voices, fragmented words in no known language. Lieutenant Grant noted, "Feels like we're being watched from inside our own skulls." The vibrations intensified. Structural scans returned impossible readings. Segments of the Reach appeared to have different densities than before launch, as if parts of the ship were changing. Then, the derelict returned, or perhaps it had never truly left. Despite altering course, velocity, and vector repeatedly, the alien vessel remained parallel to the Reach. No propulsion signatures, no engine trails, no gravity manipulation. Yet it followed, always at the same distance. Scans failed repeatedly. Data screens flickered with spiral-like symbols before rebooting into blank static. Engineer Malik described the system behavior as not malfunction, interaction. Our computers are learning a new language, whether we want them to or not. By day 3, the Artemis Reach was no longer fully under human control. Vital systems began self-cycling, power grids rerouted without input. Structural plating softened in localized regions, shifting into sinewy textures under sensor scans. The ship felt warmer, alive. At 0200 hours, the comm system transmitted across every deck. Vessel accepted, integration in progress. The voice was not human. Dr. Cade's last transmission is hauntingly calm. This was never about contact, it's communion. The derelict wasn't pursuing us. It was guiding us home. I can feel it now. The hull, the pulse, the resonance. It's learning us as we learn it. We're not passengers anymore. We are part of the vessel. Biometric data spikes sharply after her final words. Then, silence. The Artemis Reach was never recovered. No debris, no beacon. Long-range scans of the region detect no anomalies, except a faint, low-frequency hum, repeating at irregular intervals. Dr. Renataro, of the Outer Rim Institute, suggests ships like these may not be machines. They may be evolutionary vessels, life forms that absorb what boards them, rewriting form and thought into a shared existence. The Reach didn't vanish. It evolved. Bulkheads rippled faintly when touched, like skin stretched too thin. The ship's hum had deepened into a guttural vibration, echoing like a heartbeat buried in steel. Condensation clung to the walls, but it wasn't water. Slick, viscous, almost alive. Everywhere the spirals spread. Not painted, not etched. Grown, as if the ship itself had become host to alien script. Malik slumped at his console, eyes ringed with sleepless shadow. Code streamed across the displays, fractal and writhing. "I can't stop it," he rasped to Leanne, fingers trembling over dead keys. "It's not software anymore. It's rewriting the ship. Circuits, plating, everything." Leanne's voice was barely a whisper. "Like a virus?" Malik shook his head, staring at the walls as if afraid they'd breathe. "No, viruses kill their host. This thing wants us alive." On the bridge, Commander Hale stared at the derelict outside, now impossibly close. No thrust signature, no pull their sensors could detect. Yet the gap narrowed, foot by foot. "Docking in 30 minutes, Quinn said, voice tight. And I'm not flying us. It's pulling us in. Grant paced behind, rifle cradled. He hadn't removed his armor in 2 days. His eyes tracked shadows like prey. We jettison the artifact. Now. End of story. Evelyn stiffened. That won't stop it. The infection's already in the reach. The artifact was just a key. Grant turned, jaw clenched. Then maybe destroying it cuts the tether. You don't understand, Evelyn whispered, trembling. They're not trying to kill us. They're offering transcendence. Grant leveled his rifle at her chest. Say that again, and I'll put you down before you sprout tentacles. Stand down, Hale barked. But the tension stretched thin, ready to snap. In engineering, Torres tended Malik until she saw his hands shaking, not from exhaustion, but from something beneath his skin. Malik, she whispered, gripping his wrist. Spirals glowed faintly under his veins, crawling toward his elbow. Malik yanked away, terror and shame flashing in his eyes. I didn't tell anyone, he croaked. Didn't want to scare them, but it's spreading. Torres swallowed hard. The infection wasn't just in the ship, it was in them. That night cycle. Screams tore through the corridor. The crew found Quinn convulsing on the deck, body jerking, limbs bending at wrong angles. Spirals burned across his skin like molten brands. His eyes rolled white, then black. When they opened again, they weren't. Grant fired first. Bullets tore through Quinn's chest, splattering walls. The body fell, twitched, then rose again. Bones cracking as flesh rewove itself. Move! Hale roared, dragging Leon back as Grant emptied his magazine. But the thing wearing Quinn's skin lurched forward unfazed. They fled, sealing bulkheads. The pounding followed, metal warping with each strike. In the mess hall, the 6 survivors gathered. Malik hid his spiraled arm. Torres avoided his gaze. Evelyn muttered alien words like half-remembered prayers. We can't fight this, Leanne said, voice shaking. Quinn's gone. Malik's next. Who's after him? To what? Grant snarled. Abandon ship? Escape pods will be infected before we clear the derelict. Then we destroy it, Hale said grimly. Overload the reactor. Take both ships with it. Evelyn's head snapped up, fury bright. You'd burn knowledge that could change humanity forever? It's not knowledge, Grant growled. It's assimilation. Before Hale could respond, the ship groaned, a sound of metal or bone, or both, shuddering as if alive. On the forward display, the derelict loomed close, hulls grinding together, merging in a grotesque embrace. Spirals crawled across both ships like sutures. Malik rose abruptly, clutching a plasma torch. No more. I won't let it take me. Malik, wait. Torres reached for him. He ignited the torch and pressed it to his chest. Flame hissed, flesh bubbled. Spirals burned black, then darkened to ash. Malik collapsed, twitching. Smoke rising from a body no longer infected. Torres covered her mouth. He burned it out. Grant's gaze hardened. One way to cure it. No, Torres snapped through tears. That's not a cure, that's suicide. But the truth hung heavy. Fire worked. The pounding returned, louder, closer. The thing that had been Quinn wasn't done. By the time they reached the reactor chamber, systems had failed. Lights flickered between red and black, doors sealed at random, And Evelyn swore she heard voices over the comm, Quinn's, Malik's, whispering alien hymns. But the reactor was worse. Its controls no longer bore human code. Spirals pulsed across every display, alive with rhythm. Hale cursed under his breath. "It's locked us out. The ship isn't ours anymore." The lights dimmed. Shadows stretched. Figures stepped forward. One was Quinn. The rest, gaunt, skeletal, wearing the remnants of alien uniforms, shuffled from the merging corridor. "Join us," the chorus spoke in their minds. "Join and be endless." Evelyn's knees buckled. For a heartbeat, she wanted it, to dissolve into something vast. Then Grant opened fire. The reactor chamber erupted into chaos. Gunfire erupted in the reactor chamber, each shot echoing like a death knell against the hollow shifting walls. Security footage captured the chaos, rounds tearing into Quinn's deformed body, ichor spraying in arcs that defied gravity. Yet the figure barely staggered. Its eyes, void, black and endless, remained fixed on the survivors. Behind it, skeletal figures moved in perfect, unnatural rhythm. Their bones, coated in a glistening membrane, jerked and spasmed as though tugged by invisible strings. Captain Hale's command bark, recorded over comms, was clear. "Fall back!" The crew scrambled. Grant's rifle fire stitched bright flashes into the darkness, but the creatures advanced, undeterred. Torres hauled the weakened Leanne toward the exit, while Evelyn stumbled, half-conscious, half-drawn by the psychic pull of the whispers. "Join us. Stop resisting. There is no end, only becoming." The reactor itself was changing. Surveillance images reveal metallic casing folding into spirals, surfaces rippling as though breathing, glowing faintly with a pulse not mechanical, but organic. The Reach, once a lifeless vessel, was rewriting itself. Behind it, skeletal figures moved in perfect, unnatural rhythm. Their bones, coated in a glistening membrane, jerked and spasmed as though tugged by invisible strings. Captain Hale's command bark, recorded over comms, was clear. "Fall back!" The crew scrambled. Grant's rifle fire stitched bright flashes into the darkness, but the creatures advanced undeterred. Torres hauled the weakened Leanne toward the exit, while Evelyn stumbled, half-conscious, half-drawn by the psychic pull of the whispers. "Join us. Stop resisting. There is no end, only becoming." The reactor itself was changing. Surveillance images reveal metallic casing folding into spirals, surfaces rippling as though breathing, glowing faintly with a pulse not mechanical but organic. The Reach, once a lifeless vessel, was rewriting itself. They sealed the bulkhead, but the pounding on the other side began almost immediately. Hale's face, captured on helmet cam, was pale with strain. Sweat streaked his brow. "We can't hold them. Options?" Leanne's hoarse reply. "Escape pods, if they're still ours." Malik's last transmission, heard faintly through Evelyn's mind, had already warned otherwise. The system was compromised. The pods would only spread the infection. Grant's voice broke through, harsh, resigned. "Then we burn them. Purge every deck we can and overload the core manually." Torres questioned the plan. Grant's answer was brutal. "If it doesn't work, we make sure we don't become them." Silence followed, heavy, final. The crew split. Hale, Grant, and Evelyn toward the command deck, Torres and Leanne toward medbay for supplies. The corridors had transformed into something grotesque. Helmet footage reveals metallic walls flexing, almost breathing, their surfaces rippling as the crew passed. Doors dilated like living eyes. Overhead lights dimmed and pulsed, mimicking a heartbeat. At one junction, a wall split open to reveal a wet, muscular appendage, metal fused with flesh, lashing out at Hale. Grant burned it down. The air filled with the stench of seared meat. Hale muttered, almost to himself, "It's not a ship anymore. It's a womb." Evelyn didn't answer, but her biomonitor registered a sharp spike in neural activity. The whispers had stopped whispering. They purred. In medbay, Torres and Leanne encountered the worst. The walls had become lattices of bone-like structures. Cabinets bulged with pulsating masses where medical equipment had been stored. And there, hunched over an operating table, was Quinn, or what remained of him. Helmet cams captured the horrific silhouette, limbs branching into skeletal spirals, skin peeled back to expose twitching muscle, fingers lengthened to impossible ratios. Two mouths, one across his chest, spoke in unison. "Dr. Torres, you can heal them. Heal by joining." Torres pulled Leanne back, and both ran, Quinn's laughter following like claws on glass. Meanwhile, the command deck had become unrecognizable. Consoles dripped with black ichor. The captain's chair had fused to the floor, sprouting root-like appendages. The forward viewport was veiled with spirals, obscuring the stars. And there, floating freely, was the artifact. It pulsed, defying gravity, its spirals crawling across walls, across Evelyn's skin. Sensors recorded a dramatic increase in her brainwave resonance as she stepped toward it, entranced. Hale yanked her back. "Stay with me, Cade." But she whispered, almost pleading, "It's not evil. It just is. We don't have to fight it. Maybe humanity isn't worth saving." Grant nearly fired. Hale stopped him with a glare. The breach came sooner than expected. The infected crew surged upward from lower decks, wave after wave of skeletal marionettes, limbs missing yet moving, eye sockets glowing with faint void light. Grant torched the first wave with a scavenged flamethrower, flames hissing against living metal. The infection recoiled, but only briefly. "It's learning," he muttered, voice shaking. "Every minute, it's learning." Torres and Leanne arrived, shaken, terrified, confirming the medbay was lost. Quinn's voice then flooded the ship, not through comms, but through the walls themselves. "There is no fight, only surrender. Let me show you." Panels convulsed, new shapes, half-formed human figures, pushed from the metal, hands reaching, skin unfinished. Leanne screamed. Grant burned them, the air thick with the stench of scorched growth. They barricaded themselves in crew quarters, but morale fractured. Helmet cams showed Leanne, curled in a corner, sobbing. Torres sat motionless, blood-streaked, staring blankly. Grant paced, muttering. Hale clutched his side, where spirals had begun to etch beneath the skin. Evelyn, however, appeared calm. Because the whispers were no longer whispers, they were voices, clear, explaining, offering. They spoke of an ancient civilization, spread across stars bound by one mind. They told of collapse, isolation, of this vessel not as a tomb, but a seed, awaiting a host. "We chose you," the voices told her. "We choose you still." She stood. "The only way forward is to join," she told them softly. "To become something greater." Grant raised his rifle. Torres unexpectedly stopped him. "What if she's right?" she whispered. The final breach came with seismic force. The walls split open. Quinn entered, spiraled flesh gleaming, skeletal followers swarming behind. Evelyn did not resist. She stepped forward. Hands gripped her, cold and many. The artifact pulsed with violent light. As Evelyn screamed, half agony, half ecstasy. Her body dissolved, reformed. When it was over, what stood there was not Evelyn. It was something new, something smiling. Hale, Torres, Grant, and Leanne fled, sealing the bulkhead. "She's gone," Torres whispered, eyes wet. "No," Hale answered, voice like stone. "She's still in there, and we're not letting her take the rest of us." But the mission logs suggest otherwise. Evelyn hadn't been taken, she had chosen, and deep inside Hale knew. Part of him wondered if she had been right. "I first saw the ship drifting against the void, black, charred, a shadow of something that had once been alive. But as we approached, we realized the Reach wasn't dead. It was breathing. The surviving logs tell us it began with the artifact. At first, it was just a stone, silent, inert, cold. But over time, it woke up. Spirals appeared across its surface, glowing faintly. Not symbols, not art, instructions. And the ship followed. The first gunshot rang out in the reactor chamber. Quinn, the chief engineer, was no longer human. Black fluid ran from his eyes, his skin splitting to reveal new twitching limbs. Behind him moved crew members, empty-eyed, hollow, wrong. One survivor's voice cracked through the comms. "We're not fighting to win, we're fighting to buy time." Corridors began to pulse like veins. Bulkheads opened not with hydraulics but with breath. The medical bay was no longer a place to heal. It had become a workshop where flesh was sculpted into something else. Dr. Torres and Leanne witnessed Quinn's full transformation. What spoke to them wasn't a man anymore, just a vortex of bone and sinew. Two mouths opened at once, whispering in unison, "Heal them by merging them." On the bridge, the artifact floated, weightless, carving spirals into walls and skin. Evelyn stood before it, frozen, yet trembling. The whispers became clear, crystalline, almost tender. "We choose you. You will carry us forward." When the final breach occurred, Evelyn didn't scream. She laughed, cried, shook violently, then vanished in a flash of light. What stood there afterward wasn't her. It was something else. Something. Smiling. The remaining crew sealed the bridge. Captain Hale spoke the last words recorded in the log. She didn't die. She chose. Final note. The Reach was set to self-destruct. No one knows if it did. Its location remains classified. Because if that artifact was a seed, then maybe it's ready to grow. The Reach was gone, not destroyed, not abandoned. No, it had become something worse. A living construct. A fusion of steel and alien tissue, pulsing like the chambers of some colossal heart. The derelict had consumed it, rewriting its form until metal and flesh were inseparable. Spirals of impossible geometry now blazed across its surface. Symbols that pulsed with an intelligence no human mind was meant to grasp. Inside, 4 survivors remained: Commander Hale, Chief Engineer Torres, Security Officer Grant, and Biologist Leanne. They had no bridge, no controls, no hope of repair. The ship had become a body, and they were inside its veins. Hale led them through a twisting passage, its walls rippling faintly with breath. The air was heavy, damp with condensation and the faint taste of blood and ozone. Behind them came footsteps, too many, moving too perfectly in rhythm, not human anymore, not crew. The thing once called Quinn now led them. They reached engineering, or what had once been engineering. Now, it was a cathedral of alien design. The reactor pulsed in the center, like a black heart, ichor dripping from vein-like conduits. Spirals crawled across the walls, pulsing brighter with each rhythmic thrum. And standing before it was Evelyn, or what remained of her. Her body had been remade, spirals glowing beneath pale skin, eyes void black and endless. When she spoke, her words carried not only her voice, but the chorus of something vast and ancient. "You don't have to run anymore," she told them. "It's beautiful, isn't it? Look at what we are becoming." The offer each survivor heard something different, something personal, something true. To Grant, the soldier who had fought all his life, she whispered of peace. To Torres, the medic who had seen endless suffering, she promised a cure for pain. To Leanne, who had never believed herself strong, she offered infinite purpose. Even to Hale, stoic commander, worn by duty, she promised rest, an end to burden. But he saw through it. "You're not Evelyn," he said, sidearm raised. "Not anymore." The final stand. The walls came alive. Twisted corpses poured forth, human and alien alike, merged into horrors of bone and sinew. Quinn followed, his form swollen with skeletal limbs, branching like a grotesque tree. Grant opened fire. Flamethrower bursts lit the chamber in waves of burning ichor. The creatures shrieked, their bodies melting, but more surged forward. Hale fought toward Torres, who was already at the reactor. Alien glyphs pulsed under her hands, cutting her palms as they drew blood. The interface recognized her not as an intruder, but as a sacrifice. "We can trigger an overload," she gasped. "Manual, no fail-safes," Hale nodded. "Then do it." The price of detonation. Grant fell first. Quinn pinned him, skeletal arms dragging him into the swarm. Even as flames seared his former comrade's face, Quinn did not release him. "Do it!" Grant roared. "Blow it, goddamn you!" Torres completed the sequence. The reactor screamed, energy surging, containment fields collapsing. Evelyn's eyes widened. "You don't understand," she whispered. Then louder, everywhere. "You can't destroy us. You are already—" The reactor ignited. The firestorm. A white-hot inferno tore through the flesh-metal cathedral. The Reach convulsed, its alien structures shrieking as they disintegrated. Spirals screamed in psychic agony, their voices fracturing, fading. Hale dragged Torres and Leanne through a collapsing corridor, slamming emergency blast doors behind them. Through a viewport, they watched as the Reach and the derelict buckled inward and erupted into a starburst of blinding light. Then, silence. The drift. Only a small corridor module remained, torn free in the blast. Life support failing. Oxygen thin, but alive. Torres sobbed quietly. Leanne stared blankly into the void. And Hale recorded the final log of the Artemis Reach. Final transmission. This is Commander Hale. Last survivor. Mission failure. Vessel lost. Containment impossible. He paused. The whisper was still there. Evelyn's voice. Soft, patient, inside his head. We are endless. Fire cannot end us. You are ours, even now. Hale closed his eyes, finishing the message with shaking hands. If anyone receives this, do not approach derelicts in the expanse. Do not listen to the whispers. Do not bring anything aboard, or you will join them. And you will never be alone again.